Hey there, it's Sam with the September 2013 Vedic Astrology forecast. The month starts off with the moon in Cancer. Of course, the moon rules Cancer, so it's in its own sign, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Now, this moon in Cancer has joined Mars, where Mars is in a sign of debilitation, so we might be kind of emotional and a little bit sort of emotional baby tantrums. We need to be careful of that. September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and it will also be aspected by Saturn, because Saturn is in Libra, which aspects Cancer. So the month may start off with this kind of emotional frustration even, but it's also an opportunity to have more emotional courage and connect with that depth of feeling in your heart. And this will be a good lesson on the new moon the next day, which is September 4th. The new moon in the new moon in Leo on Wednesday, September 4th, will be an opportunity to start a new cycle of growth. After the Cancer cycle, the Leo cycle starts. So the Leo cycle is about our individuality, our individual self-expression, that sort of passion for life. And it'll be in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, which is ruled by the god Bhagha, the god of delight. So it's a time to really delight in the power you have for the next 30 days. And again, this is where the sun is its most powerful, because this new moon in Leo happens with the sun and moon in Leo. So having the sun in Leo and beginning that cycle of Leo energy is really important for your own individuality and own individual self-expression for the next 30 days. This also begins a very auspicious time from September 6th through September 16th. We're going to have an incredibly auspicious configuration in the sky. The sun will be in Leo, Mercury will be in Virgo, Venus will be in Libra, and Saturn will be in Libra. So Saturn is exalted, Venus is in its own sign, Mercury is exalted, and the sun is in its own sign. So that begins on September 6th and runs through the 16th, which means that all of these energies of communication, which is Mercury, self-expression, which is the sun, duty and commitment, which is Saturn, and the willingness to do the hard work to make things, flourish, and also things like relationships and beauty, which are Venus principles, all benefit for the next several weeks even after that 10-day period, but from the 6th until the 16th, it's especially auspicious. Now, the reason it starts on the 6th is because it's when Mercury and Venus both change signs. So Mercury moves into Virgo on the 6th, and Venus moves into Libra on the 6th. So this is especially important because Venus has been debilitated for a while. So Venus leaves her sign of debilitation and enters Libra, the sign that she rules, on the 6th. And Mercury also goes into Virgo. So again, this starts a 10-day cycle of enormous auspiciousness. And I said that it extends even beyond that, because after that, the only reason it breaks is because then the sun leaves Leo and goes into Virgo. But then even when the sun leaves Leo, it goes into Virgo and joins exalted Mercury. So you still have enormous power. At that time, you'll have the sun in Virgo joined exalted Mercury. Then you still have Venus in Libra joined exalted Saturn. Very, very powerful time coming up. So this month, from September 6th until the 16th, really plan to do things that connect you to culture, your self-expression, your sense of power, your sense of duty and commitment. It's a great month for that, especially from the 6th until the 16th. Of course, that's an overall cycle, but we're going to also have some pressure and some difficulty and stress along the way that we have to deal with. And on September 9th through the 10th, we should expect some pressures and some relationship concerns when the moon goes through Libra, and it's going to join that Venus, Saturn, and Rahu that are in Libra. So there could be some great outcomes that come as a result, because, we have an exalted Saturn there, we have Venus there, who is the ruler of Libra, but still we should feel some of that pressure for sure on September 9th and 10th as the moon goes through Libra. September 14th, when the moon goes through Sagittarius and is aspected by Jupiter in Gemini, really the 13th and the 14th as the moon goes through Sagittarius will be quite auspicious for study, but especially the 14th when it gets that exact aspect. It'll also be aspected by Saturn. So this double aspect of Jupiter and Saturn onto the moon will be quite important on the 13th and 14th as the moon goes through Sagittarius. A lot of inspiration and hope, and a great time to really connect with your teachings and teachers. Your social duties and your sort of collective responsibilities will be very important on September 17th and 18th as the moon passes through Aquarius, and will also be aspected by Jupiter in Gemini. So those Jupiter aspects are very important. Jupiter casts those trinal aspects along the 5th and the 9th houses from where he is. So because Jupiter's in Gemini, he's aspecting Libra and Aquarius. So the moon going through Aquarius will get that Jupiter aspect, which brings the benefit of our teachings, the benefit of our teachers. We all have acquired a certain amount of wisdom, even if it's, been, slow. We all have gained some wisdom in life, and we can benefit from that wisdom when the Jupiter aspect forms. This is why Jupiter is auspicious, because he brings the benefit of our teachings, the benefit of the wisdom of life. Now, since it's Aquarius, it means that we're going to benefit from our social connections and those things, those things that we're committed to culturally that are bigger than just our own individuality. So it's also going to be on that, very near that full moon. Now, the full moon is going to be in Pisces on September 19th. And of course, the full moon is where we try to harmonize the energy of the sun placement. Now, we just had the new moon in Leo, but the full moon comes after the sun has moved into Virgo. So the sun will be in Virgo on September 19th, which is about all the practical concerns of the world and the tendency to get sort of tangled up and lose ourselves in all of those practical concerns. So the full moon in Pisces harmonizes our energy with a greater sort of transcendent possibility. Rather than getting bogged down in all the material concerns and all the materiality of the world, we can connect that with the higher, with higher teachings. And this full moon is in the nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada, which is ruled by a deity called the one-footed goat, or Aja Ekapada, and it's related to lightning, the lightning strike that comes down from heaven and gives us an experience of our divinity. So look for a flash of inspiration to really connect you to the higher truth in your mind, and that spark will help get you out of the material concern, the material worry, and, what we can do is tend to get too bogged down in all of the material pressure of the world and feel like, I need to figure out everything. I need to understand it myself. And we lose the bigger picture. The fact that we're a product of grace, that we're a product of divine intelligence and divine wisdom. So look for that spark of intelligence to come on September 19th on the full moon. So September 22nd and 23rd, the moon will go into Aries and join Ketu. Now, it's also going to be along that axis where we have that Saturn and Venus conjunction. So this will be a lot of intensity on September 22nd and 23rd, because moon in Aries is about starting new things. It's about our individuality, our individual self-expression and enthusiasm and passion for life. And the moon is not the part of us that's really driven by that so much. The moon is not about our individuality and our individual strength and power. The moon is about connection. And many times, in order to form connection, we need to put that individuality kind of on hold and do things that allow us to harmonize with others. So when the moon goes through Aries, there's a little bit of restlessness and stress around that anyway. This time it's going to be joining the South Node Ketu, which brings a lot of scrutiny of ourself and others. And it's also going to be opposite that Saturn and Venus in Libra. So again, it's going to really show the need to harmonize our individuality and our individual enthusiasm with the needs of others if we're going to really fulfill the promise of Aries, which is to act courageously and with enthusiasm toward our goals. We can't do this in a vacuum. We need to connect our goals with others. Now, September 27th and 28th, the moon will go through Gemini and join Jupiter. So as I said earlier, those Jupiter connections are really important. So now the moon's going to be joined Jupiter in Gemini, the sign of learning, where he has been and where he'll be for the next several months until next June. So on September 27th and 28th, it's very auspicious for study, and especially for really closing the knot between our beliefs and our understanding of those things intellectually. We need to have our beliefs and the things that we believe in make sense to us intellectually. Otherwise, it's just dogma. It's just blind dogma, and we're going to not be able to make the best use of our teachings. Because what happens is we might believe in something, but if we don't understand how it works, then we don't know how to apply it in our life. For example, you'll see people that, let's say that they're religious about one sort of system or another. But then when true crisis comes into their life, if they don't really understand it, then they don't know how to really put it into practice. Instead, they fall back on what they've understood works. They fall back and they put into practice what they have figured out for themselves. And that's the Gemini, Sagittarius, the Mercury, Jupiter axis. So with the moon joined Jupiter in Gemini on 27th and 28th, it's a great opportunity to really sort of close that knot a little bit. Finally, the last real important connection in September is when the moon joins that Mars in Cancer again, and goes through the sign of Cancer, aspected by Saturn, like the place that we started. So we might feel a revisiting of those intense emotional energies on September 30th as the moon goes through Cancer and joins Mars and is aspected by Saturn. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you benefited from this, share it with others. I'm real glad to be shooting this video in this great apartment. It's pretty cool, huh? Here in New York. This is the East Village, New York. I've never seen a place like this in New York. I'm sort of on a bit of a mini retreat so I can get away and get ready for my certification program that starts next week. So I wanted to get away to a beautiful environment so that I can be supported in getting that together. And if you're interested in my certification program, you want to take care of that too this week, because we're down to the last few days. Either way, take care.